First of all, you see the model seems a bit messy, maybe it's not easy to see. One of the reasons is that we use this one and make very big. But we have the choice to here minimize. We minimize the model and then we can move the variable a bit. Just take the variable, drag. Okay. So even maybe you like the items from this side is coming this side to the model come nicer. So what I do, I just right click here. Right click here and say align the item, the indicator item at the right side. So all of these things you no need to memorize because if you see align indicator right, you will understand what the software is going to do. So I just click on that, the item is moving this side. From this side, I move the item that side. So it's easier for me to see. So the model is ready. I just need to analyze. And for moving to analysis, we told you we have two steps. The first step, we need to check the validity and reliability, and then we check the hypothesis. Correct? So validity and reliability, the option is here. The option is calculate. Calculate. So we just click on calculate, and you just need to know for testing reliability and validity, you just need to check to use PLS algorithm. PLS algorithm we use for testing the validity and reliability. So this test we need to do. So we just click on PLS algorithm. I just repeat again. I want to test validity and reliability. So what I do, I just click on calculate PLS algorithm. Nothing need to change. You just need to say a start calculation. A start calculation. So finish. The factor loading. This is the factor loading that we told you. For convergent validity, I told you the factor loading should be more than 0.4. So all is, I think, is more than 0.2. The number is showing here by the software. So you just need to see, is it the number is more than 0.4? Why? Because this is the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb say that if the factor loading is more than 0.4, we keep the item. So till now, the model have the convergent validity and the factor loading is more than 0.4. Okay, the question is, if the factor loading is less than 0.4, what should we do? Easy, we delete the item. For example, you just imagine this item is more than 0.4. I just click on the item, right click, and say delete. Delete. The software will delete that item. Why I need to delete? Because the item that have the factor loading less than 0.4, it means that this item is not belong to this variable. So we need to remove that item. So I got the item because the item was acceptable and we do the analysis. Okay. Another criteria we ask you to check is CR. We say that CR is for testing the reliability. CR should be more than 0.7. And ABE also we ask you to check for convergent validity again. ABE more than 0.5. Correct. So how we check that? Here there is one option. Actually, this option is again new. Last time, if you use the PLS event tree, immediately after analysis, this give you the report. But now they give you the option. Do you want to see the report or you don't want to see the report? So here there is one option for report. So we click on the option. So this one is user friendly, but the information is not enough when you want to report in the paper. Later I will show you how to report in the paper also. So what we do, we just click on the report and everything is showing now. So what we want? We want check the CR. Correct? Where is CR? Composite reliability in the considered reliability and validity test. So I just click on considered reliability and validity test. So Chromebook alpha is showing and also composite reliability CR. Composite reliability CR. So all the number is more than 0.7. No. This one. Oh, this one is AVE. If you look at CR, composite reliability CR. So all of the number is more than 0.7. So it means that the variable have reliability. And also we need to check AVE. All of the numbers is above 0.5. So I told you, one of the issue that we have in the workshops, when you go to any workshops, they show you the case that the case is perfect. But when you go to do your thesis, you collect the data, you will face many problems. One of the problem is ABE. Majority of the times, all of the ABE is not perfect. So you have ABE less than 0.5. So what should we do? If you know how the software calculates ABE, later it's easy for you to know how to solve this issue. The ABE is calculated based on average of factor loading. You already know the factor loading. The factor loading is here. Here the software shows you factor loading. Even in the report, they show you the factor loading. Hotel loadings, I told you. We call in the SPSS factor loading, but the software of PLS used instead of the word factor loading, hotel loading. So we click on the hotel loadings. So the factor loadings that is the software showing here, all of them also is showing here, the same things. So if this variable have the ABE is not acceptable, I'm going to remove the items that have the less factor loading. The factor loading is the smaller factor loading. Why? Because ABE is calculated based on factor loading. That if the average of factor loading is more than 0.7, average of factor loading more than 0.7, it means that ABE is more than 0.5. Definitely this one will be happening. So what is the reason that the ABE is less than 0.5? When you take the average, because we accept the items that the factor loading is more than 0.4. So, but the item is more than 0.4 and acceptable, but the average of them is not more than 0.7. So if I have one item 0.5, I'm expected other item is very high, that the average become more than 0.7. Then the ABE will be acceptable. If not, so if the ABE is not acceptable, what we do, we are going to remove the item in that variable that the item have the less factor loading, the smaller factor loading. After you remove that, you will run again the sub, run again, and you will see that the ABE will be improved. If acceptable, stop at this step. If it's not acceptable, continue to remove item till the ABE is become acceptable. You remove from the lowest. From the lowest, because if you remove the lowest, the average is going up. So another, so till now we check ABE, we check factor loading, we check CR, and we check ABE, average variance accepted. If they are acceptable, before moving to test the hypothesis, we have one more thing that to check. And that one we call discriminant validity. I told you, discriminant validity means this item is not belong to another item, another variable. How we do that? There is 3 tests here, and mostly we use 2 of them. Very simple. You just look at discriminant validity. This is discriminant validity. So, last time you see the table of correlation, correct? I think majority of you see the table of correlation. If you saw, this is exactly the table of correlation. And one of the problems that when the student is going to defense they face, the examiner expected this number will be 1. Why? Because correlation of 2 variables, EP to EP correlation is 1. Supposed to be 1. ER to ER should be 1. Then they will ask why here is the number is not 1. So because this numbers is correlation, this numbers is correlation, but this one is a square root of AB. So this 4 number is a square root of AB. The software take the correlation and instead of 1, put the square root of AB that already you calculated. Correct? So if you use Smart PLS3, Smart PLS3 will give you this table and you don't need to do anything manually. But Smart PLS2 is free. You can get the Smart PLS2 free in the website of Smart PLS. But the problem with the Smart PLS2 is many things you need to do manually. And last time, 3 years ago, we used the Smart PLS2, or 2 years ago, we used the Smart PLS2, we have these problems. One of the things is this one. The table they give you is the table of correlation. In the software, Smart PLS2, write 1, 1, 1, 1 here, and you need to take the square root of AB yourself manually and replace here. But in the Smart PLS3, everything has become easy, and the software giving us the table. We call this table as Forner and Lurker. Why we call Forner and Lurker? Because Forner and Lurker in 1986 developed this rule of thumbs. So Forner and Lurker is the name of 2 persons that write one paper about descriptive validity in 1986. And we call this one Forner and Lurker. What is the rule? The rule is the square root of ABE should be bigger than the correlation of this variable with the other variables. So this number should be bigger than these 3 numbers. This number should be bigger than these 2 and the same row and the same column. The same row, and the same column. So this number should be bigger than these 2 and this one. This number should be bigger than these 2 and this one. And the final, this one should be bigger than this one. If this number is bigger, it means that discriminating validity is existed. Again, there is a question. If later this number is not bigger, what should you do? Many times happen. What should you do if I cannot face discrimination? Very simple. The answer is very simple. The easiest way is, what is this number? This one is s square root of ABE. So I again, like the way that I did before, I'm going to remove the item from this variable with the low factor loading, so I will increase the ABE. So if I increase the ABE, the problem will be solved. The square root of ABE will be also increased. So very simple, I can solve the problem. But I need to do that. If you are not doing these things, discriminative problem will be existed. It means that discriminative means these two variables have relationship. You remember what is the name of this variable? Independent variable. So it means they are not dependent. But if discriminativity is the problem, it means that this two is not independent. This one have relationship. So we don't want these things happen. We're going to remove the items and remove the correlation between these two variables. Okay. Another way to check dissimilarity is cross-loading. This one is exactly same as in the SPSS. In the SPSS, when you doing the factor analysis, they will give you the main loading and cross-loading. What is the main loading? This item is supposed EP. The variable is EP. So ECP1 is supposed to be belong to EP, not to other variable, correct? So the factor loading of these items under EP should be bigger than the factor loading of this one under other variable. So these numbers should be bigger for ECP. For FII, the main variable is here. So the number for the main variable should be bigger than the number for the cross for other variables. So if the number for the other variable is bigger, it means that this item is belong to this variable, not to this variable. So what should we do? We need to remove the item. So this is the ways that before we moving to testing my hypothesis, we check the validity and reliability of my question. If valid, it means that, you remember, we tell that we want to measure here. It means that my variable and my questionnaire can measure the correct variable. So my item is correct. So I measure in the correct way. So validity and reliability is existent. Then what should we do? We move to test the hypothesis. So how we test the hypothesis? This section is very, very easy. So I will close this section and later I will back again and explain something about R score or something. What should we do? Remember I say for testing hypothesis I use bootstrapping. So I just click on bootstrapping. There is some question. How many you want to be here? How many subsample you want? 500 is default of the software and is acceptable. Some of the others tell better to be 2000. What if you increase the number, the accuracy of your result will be better. But the problem is when you increase the number, take more time because they need to analyze. So I will put 1000 now. But mostly in my analysis, I put 2000. Another question is here. Your hypothesis is one tail or two tail? One of the problems still we have even in the public university in Malaysia is wanted and two-tail. Still, majority of our supervisors don't know what is the difference of one-tail and two-tail. And we see that we write the paper, my hypothesis is two-tail, I test one-tail. I reported one-tail. My hypothesis, and majority of the hypothesis is, I can show you many papers that we published already. The hypothesis was one-tail, but they published in two-tail. And the result is actually should be accepted, they rejected. So, because they do the mistake. So, we need to know what is the difference between one-tail and two-tail. The first thing is, when you write the hypothesis, you say A will be effect on B. Correct? So if your hypothesis is A have effect on B, this one is two-tail. Why? Because can be positive, can be negative. Two-tail, positive, negative. So I have two-tail. One tail is positive, one tail is negative. So when I don't mention about the direction, I just say there is relationship. So this one is positive. This one is two-tail. Can be positive, can be negative. But maybe if I in my hypothesis I say A will be effect on B positively. So this is one tail. If I say this one is one tail. Can be maybe if I say A will be effect on B negatively is also one tail. But if I say A will be effect on B without giving any direction, I don't mention positive or negative, can be both. This one we call two-tail. So this we know your hypothesis is one-tail or two-tail based on the type of direction you mention. Is it you mention positive or negative? So the question is, when should you develop two-tail? When should you develop one-tail? Majority of the time we develop one-tail because we can predict the direction. Based on the literature, I know that if the customer satisfaction is going up, the demand is going up. So satisfaction have the positive effect on the customer demand. So it's based on the literature, I can give the direction. So I will develop one thing. But sometimes I don't know the direction. For example, I want to see that the effects of brand on customer intention to purchase between male and female. I don't know. Male have more intention to purchase the branded products, or female have more intention to purchase branded. So I cannot give the direction based on the literature. So what we do, we develop the hypothesis in two ways. So the way that we develop it depends to the literature and the logic. Can I guess the direction or not? So be very careful if your hypothesis is proposed in the positive way and later becomes significant but in negative way, still your hypothesis is rejected because you tell the hypothesis is supposed to be positive. But if it's significant but negative, it means that completely in the reverse way. So you need to reject the hypothesis. So let me tell you why these two also is different. The result is different in some cases.
Just before you do that, you have to defeat the negative difference of it. Probably doesn't have any effect.
No. When you don't have any effect, no hypothesis. You say there is no relationship between these two. So no relationship, you don't want to test. You want to, my hypothesis, there is this one will be effect on that, or we say it's effect, or will be effect positive, or will be effect negative. We mostly develop the hypothesis in this way. Because, one of the things is how we decide the hypothesis. To imagine this is the normality test, correct? This is the t-value. x axis is the p-value. So this one is p-value. So I already mentioned to you that p-value helped me to guess about the p-value. So if my hypothesis is only positive, my p-value is supposed to be less than 5%, correct? P-value should be less than 5%. So here is p-value. Okay. So I know that for this is one tail. I just want to be positive. So my p-value is here, and the t is 1.645. So now you see, if my hypothesis is two tail, I should have this side and this side. So what should I do? I should come here. 2.5 here and 2.5 here. And total become 5%. So 5% become fraction to 2.5 and 2.5. So what will happen? The area is become smaller, and the t value is going here now. So here the t value is 1.96. And if my t value between these two, in one tail is accepted, in two tail is rejected. So the t value between 1.645 and t value 1.96, in one tail we say accepted. For example, if my t value is become 1.85. If my hypothesis is one tail, I say accepted. If my hypothesis is two tail, I say it's rejected. So this is the reason I say very important to know that your hypothesis is important. One tail or two tail. SPSS give the result all two tail. But the majority of the management students develop the questionnaire in one tail. And you can go even in the University of Malaya, you see the physics. All of the students of the master develop the questionnaire, the hypothesis one tail, then they use SPSS, and the result is in the two tail. And many of them have this case. They say it's rejected because of the result showing that rejected, but they don't know the result is two tail. But the hypothesis is one tail. So this is one of the big mistakes that we do, and we can also see in some papers, but not in the book now. So here the software now asks you, you want I give you the result in one tail, or you want me to give the result in two tail? So PLS give you the choice. Very easy, you no need to memorize this number.
What if your surveillance of 35%? In some are one tail and some are
No. One tail and two tail is not related to your questionnaire.
This is hypothesis.
It's related to your hypothesis. So mostly our hypothesis we develop in one way. If we develop one tail, we develop one tail. So if you have, maybe in your study you have hypothesis one tail and two tail. So in that case, you better to memorize value and based on the p-value you decide. Another advantage of a small PLS 3 to a small PLS 2 is the old version. I told you a small PLS 2 is free of access. You can download and you can use, and no need to pay anything. One of the value is now in the small PLS 3 you can see the p-value, and you can select one tail or two tail. But in a small PLS 2 they just give you t-value. They just give you t-value, and you need to memorize this type of number. And I use small PLS 2 for 3 years. So now I know that the number is 1.645, 1.96, because long time I need to memorize these numbers, but no more needed. So my hypothesis, I will back to my paper. Let's see, I develop the questionnaire in one tail or two tail. I say that environmental regulation have a positive effect, so it's one tail. So I need to select in the software one tail.
Mesti ada understand, saya make sure, because we can have a positive where variable A has no effect on variable B.
If you just say non-effect, because mostly we can develop the office in two ways. We can say A have effect on B, or we can say A have, we call one of them is null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Okay? So mostly we develop, we say effect happen. The effect is existed because we want to develop a framework based on the factor that we find in the literature that the relationship is existed. So mostly we say that the relationship is existed. So we have two choices.
So you mean if there is no effect, it's not a relationship?
If there is no effect, why do you want to consider the variable in your study? This is my question. So we consider the variable in the study
Now,
with the
exploratory investigation, right? You also want to find out whether there is effect.
so okay, but
Finding there is no effect.
we consider the variable. We call the explore means that we try to find new variable that is important in the study. So it doesn't mean that I want to prove that this variable is not important. If I think this variable is not important, no need to consider it in my framework. So I just consider the variable that based on the literature can be effect on my determined variable of my thing. So I want to show satisfactory. Why? Because in the future they want to consider this factor, for example, in the market. They want to consider brand in the market. If I show that the brand is not important factor, so later, no need they sell the branded product in Malaysia. So this one is important, but showing that something is not important, okay, you know. But one of another problem that most of the students have, they think that all of the hypotheses should be significant. They want to make all of the hypotheses significant. Actually, if you make all of the hypotheses in your thesis, all of the hypotheses significant for me is also is a problem. Means that there are already many studies there, and there is nothing new. So why you did this study? Because already the literature is very strong and everything. But some case, if also many hypotheses rejected, it also is not interesting. Why? Because if many hypotheses rejected, it means that your conceptualization are problem. You are not based on the good literature developed framework. Because you won't expect that many. So can be some of them rejected and then so this won't try to when some of your hypotheses rejected, don't be upset and try to make them supported and like that. You need to come up with the reason. Why is it complicated? Then you need to go to the literature again and find the solution. For example, find the reason. In my study, I find that perceived quality have no effect on purchase intention. And you cannot find even one paper say quality have no importance. So it means that the customer don't care about quality, just purchase. And it's very funny. And when I saw this result, I have very stressful, I justify. So I'm looking at research papers, and around 1 month I try to justify this one. And at the end, I find the justification. My study is on buy one, get one free, the volume discount. And the volume discount, the depth of promotion is very high. And the previous studies, I find two studies that show that when the promotion is very deep and the customer see that they save many money, they forget about quality. And this one is happening for me. I know some of the brands that have very less quality compared to others, but sometimes they give 50 ringgit, 3 t-shirts. So I say, it's okay. Instead of I buy one t-shirt, 80 ringgit, I buy 3 t-shirts, 50 ringgit. Even the quality is not there, I will, after 2 weeks, I can throw out and I have to stick to another t-shirt. With different color, different design. So what we do, I forget about quality. And these things, this is the justification. So even when in your result something is insignificant, it doesn't mean something's wrong. You need back to the literature, you need to see the context of the country you research. Means maybe the studies that say this factor is significance, they conducted research in developed countries. But you conducted research in developing countries like Malaysia or Asia countries. So maybe the context is different, the culture is different, and this factor will be effect on the result. So don't we expect that all the hypotheses be accepted? And one of the best paper I wrote, I got rejection from many journals, and exactly they mentioned that all of your hypotheses is accepted, and I cannot find any weakness in your paper. The paper is well structured, the paper is everything's fine, but all of them is significant for me. The reviewer exactly mentioned this. All of them is significant for me. It means that already many literature on that, and there is nothing new. So cannot accept it. But I will work on that paper tomorrow. And I don't know what should I do because the result all is the real result. I cannot change anything. So this is the things. So please won't be in a stress or something when you have this type of issue. So be back to the the time is over already, I know, but I just finished this one in a few minutes and then going to so in calculate put a strapping, correct? So it's very easy. I just change this one to 1000 and I will say 1 day because I changed my hypothesis is 1 day. Started. So this is the reason I told you won't put 10,000 something like that because take time to if you increase the number the result is more accurate but take time. So I will ask for the report like the last time. And here you can see which one is significant and which one is not significant. Only Fi is significantly effect on my the 1 day. This one is rejected. This one is rejected. So only one hypothesis. Why? Because the p-value is supposed to be less than 5%. So here is the p-value. P-value is less than 5%. So it's supported. These two hypotheses is rejected. So it means that financial initiatives will be effect on economic performance. But regulation doesn't have any effect. So it means that the economic performance of companies in supply chain in Malaysia won't be affected by regulation. This one is based on the manager point of view. And marketing demand also won't be affected so much. And it's rejected. So this is the things, and later we need to discuss during discussion. Thank you. So a simple model we tested. In the afternoon section, we add the moderator and mediator and going to test the moderator and mediator. Okay, thank you.
So what time do we start back again?
It's up to you. I think 2:30, correct? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Okay, class, can you just take a seat for a minute more? We have a guest, yeah? Come, please take a seat. Okay, class, it is actually our great honor and privilege today to have Dr. Lester Messingham. If you have ever done marketing or Chartered Institute of Marketing during your time on planet Earth, then you will surely know Dr. Lester because he was the chief examiner and he is also the author of books on marketing and stuff. And he is a person with many, many years experience in consultancy in the area of strategic planning. So we are very happy that he has agreed to become the director for the Center for Strategic Planning under Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Yes. So he's with us. And he's also going to help us bring our programs to City London College for PhD and MBA. So that will probably also be offered in London. So I would like to invite Dr. Lester perhaps to address you.
Thank you very much. Well, hello everybody. I don't really know what to say other than hello, good morning, and good luck and goodbye. I think short speeches are the best.
Actually, Dr. Lester is also a master in research. He's the director of MBA and PhD studies for another London group, and he's just completed a manual on research methodology.
I suppose really just to say hello and warm welcome to all of you. Basically, I'm a management consultant. That's how I set up my life over very many years. Currently, we're working with governments, we work with multinational organizations. I'm leaving tomorrow morning for Colombo, and I go on to Saudi on economic transformation. And I come back, and we've just opened the Center of Strategic Planning, which is really what I've done for much of my life. I'm looking forward to building that. Currently, I have around about 6,000 students on an MBA program for executives globally. So I direct that program. It's a very big program. My doctoral program, I have around about 200 people on the doctoral program in London. So I'm heavily involved in the academic side as well as the practical side. My heart is for those things that really work. I think the most important thing, even when it comes to doctoral research, is that we need to move knowing what or knowing that, knowing how. And that's the gap that exists, I think, in much of the world. That's the gap that exists in the academic world. And if your thesis, when they are ready, and your dissertations are published, can in some way make a contribution, a very real contribution to society. I think that's the main purpose and main agenda. The doctoral journey, which you're all on, is up, it's lonely, it's hard, but with resilience and blessings, you'll be able to get through the other end. But make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is significant to somebody in some way, and it's important for you to be able to carry that into your future. I just leave you probably with one thought. There's a lot of confusion between what is a thesis and what is a dissertation. Many people think they're the same thing. It's that big book that you write. Actually, the big book that you write is your dissertation. What you are doing and the journey that you're on at the moment is developing your thesis. And your thesis is your argument, it's your mentality, it's your mindset. It's what the PhD will be for you in the future. So my own thesis was about connecting knowing what with knowing how. Hence, I've just looked at that and looking at the sort of clinical psychological domain in which that lives for many practitioners of business. I found that many people who are practicing professional qualifications such as marketing, people, accountants, and so on, they pass exams, they know what, but the reality is they go back into the workplace environment and have no idea as to how to make this work in practice. So I was fascinated by this, and my own thesis was covering about 1,500 companies from Nigeria, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and the UK. It was a cross-cultural study, and it was quite interesting to see where people run into difficulties about what they really know and the realities of the practice. I still find that my thesis carries me through every day. Whatever I'm doing, that thought is always with me. I use working on some papers this morning, and it's the same thing. How do we make this happen? How do we convince people that the road that we're on will lead to a purposeful outcome? So, with all of your work and research that you're on at the moment, I hope and I trust and I'm sure that your PhDs will have a purposeful outcome, and it will help you to know how more than simply just know what. So thank you, Dr. Harvey, very much for inviting me today. It's a great privilege to see all of you and to see that you're also keen. You look like you've been working hard, which is always a good sign.
Very hard.
So good luck to you.
Be holding back for a year. Why not we do a group photo, yeah?
You have a long way.
How do we do things?
Get beyond somebody's Facebook.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheers. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Okay.
Thumbs up, yes.
Thumbs up. Okay, good. 1, 2, cheers. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll give you MUSD cards.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Come down.
Nam, ja, op, deur niet meer, bewerken.
过来推吗？但是如果他不用管，在给谁的？